Rachel can keep about $10,000 from quietly sliding into her next car loan before she ever signs. Not by haggling harder, not by memorizing dealership tricks, by refusing to judge the deal from one friendly number, the monthly payment. The villain is the F&I office monthly payment frame inside a long-term auto loan structure. In one Experian example, a $36,000 loan stretched to 96 months shows $10,042 in total interest. The car did not become cheaper. The payment became easier to accept. This video answers how to avoid overpaying on car financing, and the part most buyers ask too late, when to make the finance charge visible. The move is simple. Compare the cost of the loan, not the comfort of the payment. That is how to avoid overpaying on car financing. Before signing, Rachel should ask for the truth in lending disclosure and compare 5 numbers: APR, finance charge, amount financed, total of payments, and number of payments. Those numbers are not secret. They are not advanced finance. They are the basic shape of the loan. But the car buying process has a much easier number to sell: the monthly payment. And the monthly payment is powerful because it sounds like real life. Rachel does not walk into the dealership thinking, "I want to optimize my total of payments." She thinks, "Can I handle this every month?" That is a normal question. It is also the question that gives the F&I office the most room to maneuver. If the payment feels too high, the deal can be adjusted in more than one way. The car price could move. The down payment could change. The APR could change, or the loan can simply get longer. A 60-month loan can become 72 months, then 84, then 96. The monthly payment may fall. The deal may feel more affordable. Rachel may feel like the finance office solved the problem. But the CFPB says a longer auto loan term may mean smaller monthly payments and more interest over the life of the loan. That is the trade. Lower pressure now. Higher total cost over time. So Rachel is not just choosing a payment, she is choosing how long interest gets to stay in the deal. Here is the small version. In a CFPB example, a $20,000 loan at 4.75% APR shows $1,498 in interest over 36 months. Stretch that example to 72 months, and the interest becomes $3,024. Same loan amount, same APR, longer term, more total interest. Now move from the teaching example to the market Rachel is actually shopping in. Experian reported that in Q1 2026, the average new vehicle loan amount reached $43,925. The average monthly payment reached $770. The average new vehicle loan term was 69.48 months, and 35.55% of new vehicle loans were longer than 6 years. So the long-term loan is not a weird corner of the market. It is part of the normal environment. So let's do the math. The monthly payment makes easy to ignore. In Experian's example, a $36,000 loan at 6.37% APR shows $6,131 in total interest over 60 months, $8,715 over 84 months, and $10,042 over 96 months. That is the number from the beginning. Not a guaranteed loss for every buyer. Not a claim that every long loan is wrong. It is an example of what the finance charge can reveal before Rachel signs. And that is the key phrase, before Rachel signs. The truth in lending disclosure includes the APR, finance charge, amount financed, total of payments, number of payments, late fees, prepayment terms, and other important terms. The CFPB says buyers should request that disclosure before signing the contract. Because if Rachel first studies the full cost numbers at the end, when she is tired, committed, and already picturing the car in her driveway, those numbers feel like paperwork. If she asks before signing, they become decision-making tools. That is the difference. The same disclosure can either be a formality or leverage. Here is what most buyers miss. The expensive part does not have to be hidden in some mysterious illegal fee. It can sit in a perfectly normal box labeled finance charge. The structure works because attention goes to the payment first. The full cost arrives later, wrapped in terms, boxes, and signatures. And dealer financing adds another layer. The FTC says dealership financing may offer multiple options, but the dealer typically profits from offering financing and may not always offer the best deal. That does not mean dealer financing is automatically bad. It means Rachel should not walk in with only one financing option in the room. The FTC advises buyers to get pre-approved before shopping, so they know the APR, loan length, and maximum amount. Then they can use that offer to negotiate with the dealer. Now Rachel has a baseline. Instead of asking, "What can you do for me?" she can ask, "Can you beat this?" That is a very different conversation. And before financing even starts, the FTC says buyers should ask for a written out-the-door price, the total car price before financing, including taxes and fees. That matters because otherwise the loan can blur everything together. Car price, taxes, fees, add-ons, financing. One monthly payment can make all of those feel like one simple number, but they are not one simple number. Add-ons are a perfect example. The FTC says add-ons are extra items that can be financed with the car, and buyers should ask for their prices in writing. Some add-ons may provide value to some buyers. The point is not never buy any add-on. The point is that if an add-on is rolled into the loan, Rachel should know what it costs before it becomes part of the financed amount. Because once everything is folded into the payment, the deal becomes harder to see. That brings us to the midpoint reveal. The same car can look cheaper while becoming more expensive. Not because the math is hidden, because the monthly payment is emotionally louder than the total cost. In Experian's example, the 96-month loan shows a $480 monthly payment and $10,042 in total interest. A monthly payment says, "Can I live with this?" The finance charge says, "What does this actually cost me?" Those are different questions. And the F&I office monthly payment frame depends on Rachel treating them like the same question. Smart buyers miss this because the payment feels practical, and the finance charge feels administrative. One feels like budgeting, the other feels like paperwork. The system has more room when paperwork comes after emotion. That is the human cost. Rachel is not careless. She is responding to the number the process emphasizes. A lower monthly payment can genuinely matter. Cash flow is real. A longer term may be a deliberate choice for some buyers. The problem is not choosing the longer term. The problem is choosing it without seeing the trade. So Rachel needs to turn one deal into a comparison. Show the same car at 60 months. Show it at 72. Show it at 84. Show it at 96. For each version, compare the APR, finance charge, total of payments, amount financed, and number of payments. Now she can see whether the car became more affordable or whether the cost simply moved into a longer timeline. That is the control point. And if the room gets tense when Rachel asks to slow down, that is useful information. The CFPB says buyers can walk away if they feel uncomfortable or pressured. Walking away is not being difficult. It is refusing to treat a signature as a social obligation, because the contract is not a vibe. It is a financial obligation, and the cost does not have to shout to matter. It can be printed calmly in the disclosure, so here is the verdict. The villain is the F&I office monthly payment frame inside a long-term auto loan structure. The payment gets the spotlight. The full cost gets the paperwork. And in Experian's example, that paperwork shows the number from the start. $10,042 in total interest on a 96-month loan. Rachel's win is not fighting the dealership. Rachel's win is making the full cost visible before she signs. The sentence is, "Show me the truth in lending disclosure before I sign. APR, finance charge, amount finance, total of payments, and number of payments." Then ask for the same car shown at 60, 72, 84, and 96 months. Compare the finance charge and total of payments, not just the monthly payment. And before the loan conversation, ask for the written out-the-door price, so the car price is separated from the financing structure. That is how a lower payment becomes a real comparison instead of a comfortable blur. Rachel can still choose the longer loan. But now she is choosing it with the full cost visible. That is the entire move. The system is allowed to make the monthly payment feel like the answer. Rachel is allowed to ask for the numbers that show whether the answer is expensive. So before your next car deal, which number would you ask to see first? The monthly payment, the finance charge, or the total of payments?